video. Okay. Yeah. Om Sadashiva Samarambham.
Om Sadashiva Samarambham.
Shankaracharya Madhyamam.
Shankaracharya Madhyamam.
Asmadacharya Paryantam.
Asmadacharya Paryantam.
Vande Guru Paramparam.
Vande Guru Paramparam.
Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha.
Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha.
Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha.
Sthirairangai Stushtuvagunsastanubhihi.
Sthirairangai Stushtuvagunsastanubhihi.
Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu.
Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu.
Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha.
Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha.
Swasti nः Pusha Vishwavedaha.
Swasti nः Pusha Vishwavedaha.
Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi.
Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi.
Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu.
Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Na chakshusha grihyate.
Na chakshusha grihyate.
Napi vacha.
Napi vacha.
Na anyair devaihi tapasa karmana eva karmana va.
Na anyair devaihi tapasa karmana va.
Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvaha.
Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvaha.
Tatastu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamanaha.
Tatastu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamanaha.
So, this was the verse we were looking at last time. So here, how do we gain this Atma? How do we gain moksha? What is the asadharana sadhana for that? Okay, because sadharanam means many things are required for you to gain this knowledge, to gain moksha. So you have to be qualified, means you have to have a certain disposition of your mind. So that is talked about in the Shastra. But just because you are qualified, will you gain moksha? Will you gain this Atma Jnanam? No. So to gain moksha, jnana is the immediate means, okay, or the direct means. All other things are only preparations so that you become qualified to gain this knowledge. So that is what is very clearly said in this verse. So it says na chakshusha grihyate napi vacha and all that. So it is not to be gained by any senses, through any sense perception, or even through your mind, okay, and also not through other actions like tapas. Tapas represents all religious activities which you can do, and karmana means any other activities also. Of course, dharmika karma we have to take. So even all ethical, just ethical conduct alone is not enough. Just doing religious disciplines also is not enough. Just having a calm mind is not enough. So what is required, what is the immediate means is knowledge. Jnana prasadena. So Vishuddha Sattvaha means here that shows that a person should have a certain qualification. Vishuddha Sattva means one who has a pure mind. So purity with reference to mind means what? That means we have to define what is impurity. So that is again talked about a lot even in Bhagavad Gita. Raga Dvesha is the impurity, likes and dislikes. Why? Because likes and dislikes, if one has, then it implies that you are a small wanting being. Because only the one who looks upon oneself as a small limited being with wants is subjected to likes and dislikes. So anytime you are acting out of your own likes and dislikes, it is only reinforcing your smallness, your limitedness, that you are a samsari. So as long as you are driven, impelled by your own likes and dislikes, then you are not really qualified for this knowledge. Because this knowledge is about you being the limitless. That means whatever is implying your limitedness, which is reinforcing your smallness, first has to be, at least it has to be neutralized, okay, resolved to an extent. At least relatively it has to be resolved. So that is why this Raga Dvesha and their effects on you, correct? Because if a Raga or Dvesha is not fulfilled, then it can become hurt, pain from their anger. And if anger is, because anger is nothing but it is just a symptom of your pain. And anger is there means everything is clouded. Even whatever knowledge you have is not available to you. And from there it is only a path for destruction. So like this is all talked about. So Vishuddha Sattva means one who has a certain disposition, one who has mastery over one's likes and dislikes, one whose mind is calm, not distracted by any other fanciful things, correct? Any fantasies. One who has certain vairagya also, which is very important. Because one who has understood the nature of this samsari jagat, the limitations of being a samsari, and also one who has understood what is moksha. So these are all very important, because unless you understand what is moksha and how one can gain it, then only you look for the means to gain it, correct? Moksha is not going somewhere. Moksha is not fulfilling all your desires. Moksha is not getting whatever you want. In fact, many times even in our own life we want something, and after getting whatever we wanted, we are still miserable. In fact, we even think, why did I want this? So things like that also happen, correct? It's our own experience. We all know that. So you want, desperately you want something. You work very hard also. Okay, I have seen people quoting each other, being in love for years. They are desperate to get married. They go against the wishes of their families, get married, and then start fighting. And then think, why did I want this life? So, what we have to understand is, whatever you may want, once you have achieved it, it is no more the same. That is the reality of any achievement, any accomplishment. So to even come to Vedanta, you should have accomplished something and see the limitations of your own accomplishments. That's a very important thing. Those who are still having some complexes and who want to prove themselves to others and to oneself, they should then go ahead and do that in their life. And once they have seen the limitations of their pursuits and accomplishments, then they can come to Vedanta. You cannot force anybody to learn Vedanta also. Vedanta can be only taught for those who have a certain maturity. Okay, those who come and ask. I can be living with my family, my parents, my brothers, but if they are not interested to learn Vedanta, you can't teach, correct? Even in your own family. Only those who ask, for them alone, Vedanta can be given. See, even if you take Mahabharata, Arjuna and Krishna were together all the time, correct? They were friends, they were cousins. They went all over the country, enjoyed themselves. But Krishna never taught this Brahma Vidya to Arjuna. So Arjuna never asked. Then if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, Arjuna goes on lamenting. And he is confused also. Then also he didn't do anything. He was only advising Arjuna. He didn't teach. He even, at the beginning of the second chapter, Krishna even uses harsh words and chides at Arjuna. Then Arjuna says, no.
You got that for some time. I don't know if the others also had a similar experience.
I don't know, maybe.
And you have to go back until only when you have your family, they also don't listen.
After that, I also did not
we can teach them. Yeah, after that, we'll ask you.
Okay. What I was telling is, unless it is asked for, we can't teach Vedanta, correct? So, you can be living with somebody, you may be close to them, you may care for somebody, but just because of that you can't make them learn Vedanta or give them this teaching. Unless someone asks for it, someone is ready and mature to learn, you can't teach Vedanta. It's a teaching tradition. And it requires a certain qualification. So what I was telling is, in Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna wanted to, like Arjuna was with Krishna for many years, correct? They were cousins and friends. They went all over the place together. But Krishna never taught Arjuna this Vidya, this Brahma Vidya. And even in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter also, Arjuna is going on lamenting and he is confused. And he doesn't want to do his duty. So even then Krishna never taught him anything straight away. Even in the beginning of the second chapter, Krishna is only using harsh words and chiding Arjuna. Then Arjuna says, no, I am Shishyasteham. I am your Shishya, you now teach me Shreyas. So then only, so he even says, Shadhimam, teach me. And I have taken refuge in you, Prapannam, Shadhimam Tvam, Prapannam and all he says. Then only Arjuna start. So like this Vishuddha Sattvaha, this word here brings in the qualified student. Okay, one has to be qualified and one has to have a pure mind, means one who has a certain mastery of one's likes and dislikes, one who has an objective outlook towards this world and its pursuits, one who is not fanciful about worldly pursuits, correct? One who has a certain dispassion. And again, one who is able to concentrate, focus on things. These are all some qualities which is required. And such a person is called Vishuddha Sattvaha. So Vishuddha Sattvaha, Niskalam Dhyayamanaha. And such a person when he is contemplating on this, Nishkalam means what? Atma is partless. Okay, it is a partless whole. And it doesn't have any guna, karma, kriya, nothing. It does not have any qualities. Okay, it does not have any action or activity also in it. No change. It is changeless consciousness. So this Atma, which is Nishkalam, which is a partless whole. So the one who has a pure mind and one who is contemplating Nishkalam Dhyayamanaha, and that person Jnana Prasadena, by this knowledge, due to the blessings of this knowledge, you can say, tam pashyate, tataha tam pashyate. So thereafter, this person sees this Atma, knows this Atma as the limitless. Okay, so the Atma is the one which is manifest as both the subject and the object in every experience. So it is the invariable in every experience. It has to be seen very clearly. So that is what is talked about here. So Jnana is the asadharanam karanam, asadharanam sadhanam. Okay, for moksha. There is no other way. One has to gain this knowledge. So that has been made clear here. Now the next verse is even more important, because in modern Vedanta the biggest confusion is Atma is beyond the mind. Okay, so this beyond the mind is the biggest confusion. So sit somewhere, dive deep within you and transcend yourself, transcend the mind. These are all the kinds of words which are bandied about. And suddenly the Atma will show itself. I don't know how, but that's how it is talked about, correct? Keep questioning yourself, who am I? And suddenly Atma will burst forth. I don't know. Some special experience will come and it will transform you. And I have seen people who are waiting for 30, 40, 50 years for that experience. Nothing has happened. Only that person has become old now. Okay. So that is a very big confusion. People waiting for a special Atma experience, but I don't know, even that experience is beyond the mind or within the mind only. Are there any experiences which can be beyond the mind for us? Everything we are experiencing only through the mind, correct? Whether it is sensory perception, all those senses are involved. Let us say I want to see color. I have to use the eyes. But even there, mind has to be involved, correct? If the mind is not backing up the sense organ, something may be right in front of you, you will still miss it. Somebody may be calling you, your ear is proper, there is no problem, you don't require any hearing aid and all that. But still you will miss it if you are not attentive. If your mind was focusing on something else, you can miss it. So even for sensory perception, mind is required. Then even anything else you are contemplating on, some concept, that also is mind only, correct? And all other experiences which you have had are also known through your mind. Even internally your emotions, fear, joy, everything is known through the mind. So there is nothing beyond the mind. Understand that. All knowledge is mental only. There is no knowledge which is beyond the mind. So this has to be very clear. And for any knowledge to take place, there has to be a means of knowledge. Understand that. There cannot be any knowledge without a proper means of knowledge. This has to be very clearly understood. The Neo-Vedanta, this is the biggest confusion. They think that experience will give you knowledge. Experience will not give any knowledge. Understand that. Experience is not counted as a means of knowledge in the tradition. Experience is dumb, in fact. Experience can be interpreted in any way. So it is not necessary that you will interpret your experience correctly and arrive at knowledge. So experience is not a means of knowledge. And for any knowledge to take place, you require a means of knowledge. Another word which is used a lot if you are reading some paperback Vedanta is intuition. Now intuition is a very vague word. If the author is not very sure of what he wants to convey, they will simply say that you have to intuit it. You sit in meditation, intuition will happen. Intuition also is not a means of knowledge. Understand that. Maybe due to intuition we can do so many things in our life. I am not denying that. But intuition can also be right, intuition can also be wrong. So intuition also is not a means of knowledge. What is the means of knowledge for us? Shruti is the means of knowledge. The words of the Shastra, handled by a competent teacher, Guru, the Acharya and the Shastra are the means of knowledge. When a qualified person subjects himself or herself to the study of the Shastra with an Acharya, that is the Pramana Vyapara. So you subject yourself, you undergo this Pramana Vyapara, you listen to the Shastra. And if your mind is pure, your will is also suspended. Because when knowledge takes place, there is no role for your will in that knowledge. Understand that. If there is a part, you have to know the part as part, correct? Because knowledge is always true to the object of knowledge. Just by willing, you cannot make a part into a cloth or something. Knowledge is not based on your will. Karma is based on your will. You can do, you need not do, you can do differently. So traditionally we say kartum shakyate, akartum shakyate, anyatha va kartum shakyate. You can do, you need not do, you can do differently. So free will is useful, or it has a role in action, but it has no role in knowledge. When the eyes are reporting to you that it is a part, you have to know it as a part. So the part ignorance goes away and you know it as a part, correct? I know this part. So that's how knowledge takes place. So karma is called Purusha Tantra because it depends on the person's free will. But Jnana is Vastu Tantra. It is dependent on the object, the nature of the object. So if you want to know something correctly without any error, you have to know it as it is, correct? So that is the nature of knowledge. So when the Pramana Vyapara happens, knowledge takes place and your free will has no role in that. Same thing here, a person who is ready, who is qualified, when that person undergoes this Pramana Vyapara, where the Shastra is listened to, knowledge takes place. That is the Pramana. And this knowledge, where does it take place? It has to take place only in your mind. Understand that. Because for normal objective knowledge, okay, if we look at it technically, in the tradition we say there two things happen. One is what the mind has to take the form of the object which you are knowing. Okay. So through your sense organs, the object of knowledge goes into your mind, or the mind goes out through your sense organ. That's how they say, in fact. So mind goes through the sense organ and takes the form of the object which you are supposed to know, correct? If you are knowing a part, then there is a part vritti in the mind. Okay, the mind takes the form of a part thought, we can say, correct, in English, if we have to say. So you look at a part, you don't look at only the part, in fact it is everything, correct? Because a part can be there on a table, part can be there on the floor, whatever. So the entire thing is a thought, and your mind takes the form of that, your whole surroundings, that situation, whatever is there. That is called vritti vyapti. Okay, understand this. The term used for this is vritti vyapti. So vritti vyapti means what? Mind taking the form of the object of knowledge is called vritti vyapti. So once this vritti vyapti happens, then the ignorance of that object goes away. Ignorance is destroyed by this vritti only. Understand that. Jnana vritti is required for ajnana to go away. So when the jnana vritti takes place, ignorance is destroyed, ignorance is gone. And then you can say, I know this part. That is called phala vyapti, because I become the knower of a particular object, correct? I am the knower of this object. I objectify that in my mind and then become the knower of that particular object. Is it clear? So that is called phala vyapti, when I become the knower of a particular thing. I know this part. You cannot anymore say that I am ignorant of this part. You have known the part and you become the knower of that part. So this is the two steps are there, correct? One is you have to objectify. One is that the mind takes the form of the object to be known. The other is then you become the knower of that object. So this is called vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Now this is how we have gained all our knowledge. Understand that. We were born due to ignorance. And once born also, we are ignorant. Child is completely ignorant. Then slowly the child gains objective knowledge. Knowledge about the world, about the surroundings, about one's own parents, family, language. We pick up so many things. But all that knowledge is only removing objective ignorance. What about the self-ignorance? One takes oneself for granted. One takes oneself to be a limited being, wanting being. And being a limited wanting being, one wants to fulfill one's likes and dislikes, hoping that it will make myself happy, correct? By fulfilling one's desires, we think that we can become happy. But that never happens. So even after you fulfill your desire, you are the same limited wanting person. Only difference is now you want something else. So that goes on and on. That is the samsari. But the one who wants to get out of this cycle, correct, has to now question oneself also. Do I know myself? Do I know the reality of myself? I have taken myself for granted. And if I am in reality a limited being, can I ever get this moksha? In reality, if I am limited, then I will remain limited only, correct? Whatever is real cannot change. But if in reality I am not this limited wanting being, then I have to know that, correct? Because only ignorance can cover such things. So I can have my whatever, I can have my glasses like this and go on searching. It happens, correct? So being the one with glasses, I am still thinking, in my thinking, I am a wanting person with reference to the glass because I think I don't have the glass. I am going all over the place. Then what? Somebody has to tell, hey, stupid fellow, the glass is right with you. It's on your head only. So ignorance can do this to you. Understand that. So there is no rule that you cannot have self-ignorance. Although the self is always experienced. Understand that. The self is self-revealing. You don't have to use any pramana to know yourself. But it is not known correctly. So there is a ignorance also associated with oneself. That is our problem as an individual. Isvara has no such problem. Understand? Isvara is sarvajnaha. And in that sarvajnatvam, atmajnanam also is included. And Isvara does not require a mind to know anything. Only Isvara does not require a mind to know. Because Isvara has Maya Upadhi. Not this limited body, mind, sense complex. Isvara's Upadhi is different. Isvara being a jnani is manifest as this Jagat. And even an avatara is like that, correct? Even an Isvara avatara, even when participating within this Jagat, it's only a Leela. Because the avatara already has jnana. So only Isvara does not require a mind to know. All others and all other knowledge takes place only in one's mind. This has to be very clear to all of you. And we, since we are limited by the mind only, correct? Whatever we can know, we have to know only through the mind. And self-knowledge also has to be known only through this mind. There is no other way. Understand that. Now that is what is talked about here in the next verse, which is a very important verse. Okay? It is a important verse because Upanishad, see, in this section, all these verses are really beautiful. They give us something special. They clarify so many things beautifully. So here, next verse, we will see quickly. Yeshonuratma Chetasa Veditavyah Yasmin Pranah Panchadha Samvidesha Pranais Chittam Sarvamotam Prajanam Yasmin Vishuddhe Vibhavati Yesha Atma So, Yeshaha Anuhu Atma Veditavyah. So this Atma is called Anuhu here. Here, Anu means here we have to take it as subtle. Okay? So, knowing this Atma is not an easy thing because all other things we know as objects of our mind. This Atma cannot be known like that. That is the main problem. Because it is the subject The subject can never be objectified. But we have some wrong notions with reference to this subject. Correct? The subject is nothing but self, I. And I think I am limited. I am a wanting person. So these are all wrong notions. So with reference to self-knowledge, the Shruti is the Pramana, and Shruti reveals my real nature like a mirror. Because the eyes can see everything else, but eye cannot see itself. If you want to see your eyes, you have to go and stand in front of a mirror. Somebody cannot come and say, hey, if you want to see your eyes, why don't you turn around within yourself? That's not possible. Why are you looking outside if you want to see your eyes? They cannot question. Only a mirror can show your eyes, correct? Similarly, the Shastra is a Darpana. It is called Shastra Darpana also in the tradition. It is the mirror which shows your nature, your reality. And you have to know that. And how do I know? Chetasa, by the mind alone. Understand this. So somebody cannot come and say this Atma is beyond the mind. Go and sit and wait for some special experience. No, that's not the idea here. Understand that. Shastra is very clear. In fact, even in other Upanishads also it is made very clear. Manasa eva aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana and all. So Manasa eva idam aptavyam, like the Kathopanishad says. Manasa eva anudrashtavyam is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also. But the same Upanishad also in many places will say this Atma is beyond the mind. That also is said. Understand that. But that has to be understood properly. Okay? Because even Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. But immediately it says, Anandam Brahmano Vidwan. So this Atma is the one from where words and mind return back. That is because the Atma cannot be objectified by the mind. Understand that. It is not an object. It is not the meaning of any one particular word. So both the words and mind return back from this Atma. That was what was said even 2 verses back, correct? So that is fine. This Atma is a subject. In fact, we cannot even say it is only the subject. Understand that. The status of being a subject also is only Mithya. This Atma is both the subject and the object. That is what the Pramana is revealing. The Sutrit Pramana is revealing to me that Atma is everything. It is both the subject and the object. It is the basis for every experience. It is the invariable consciousness. It is in the form of consciousness is, correct? This consciousness is invariable. Cognitions may keep on varying. You may have part consciousness. That means part consciousness is. Then you look at an apple, apple consciousness is. Then you look at some water in a jug, then that consciousness is. So what you cognize keeps on changing. But consciousness is the invariable. And whatever is changing is Mithya. This consciousness is the Satyam, which is the basis for both the subject and object. It is the invariable in every cognition. Pratibodha viditam matam. That's what Kenopanishad says beautifully. It is the one which is known in every cognition, every experience. So any experience is dumb if you don't understand this. And you don't require any special experience to know this. That is the beauty. Each and every experience is revealing this Atma only as the invariable. All experiences resolve in this Atma only. That is what we call Samadhi. See, one meaning of Samadhi which Shankara gives is Samadhiyate Asmin. iti, in which everything resolves. Each and every cognition resolves where? It resolves into this Nirgunam Brahma, Nirguna Atma, correct? Nirvikalpa Atma. Atma is Nirvikalpa. That is what we have to understand. There is no Bheda, Nishkala, it was said in the previous verse also. There is no Bheda in this Atma. The subject-object division resolves in this Atma. That is the very nature of Atma. Atma is Nirvikalpaha, and in which everything resolves. And that is the understanding that has to be understood correctly, properly. And the nature of this Atma, oneself, as the Atma of everything, correct? Sarvatma Bhava we say. Because there is only one Atma, one Chaitanya, which is manifesting as awareness through all the Upadhis. This entire Jagat is nothing but this Atma. That is the beauty. So that has to be understood where? Only in the mind. Understand that. Okay? So Chetasa, Manasa eva, and this mind is not a normal mind. That's why Vishuddha Sattvaha was said, correct? Not any mind. It is the mind which is ready, which is qualified, which is pure. So only a pure mind can understand, and where again? Yasmin pranaha samvivesha panchadha. So again, where do we get this moksha is a question, correct? Many, in fact, even within the Indian tradition, there are people who say you cannot have any moksha while living here, correct? So people say only Vidya Mukti is there. You have to die, go to some loka, and that is moksha. There is no moksha available right now. Even after reading the same Shastra, they interpret it like that. I don't know how, but that is how it is, correct? And other theologies are all nothing but tourism promotion, correct? They are only talking about some heaven and you have to go there. And that too you have to blindly believe somebody. That's all. It's all laughable actually. But here what this Shruti is saying, hey, you have to know it here when the prana is there, correct? Yasmin pranaha samvivesha. Wherever the prana has entered in fivefold, in these five forms, correct? Prana means we say prano, pana, vyana, udana, samanaha, like that. Prana, vyana, then apana, udana, samana, like that. Fivefold it is there. The breath which you take in becomes the prana. The breath you actually leave out is apana. Then the digestive functions are there, blood circulation is there, and finally when the prana leaves, correct? When somebody dies also it goes up. That is also called udana. So like that, different physiological processes are happening only due to this fivefold prana. And wherever this fivefold prana has entered, there only the mind is there. Understand? Without prana, mind also cannot function. So where in a body where this prana and mind are functioning, in that mind alone you have to know this Atma. That means while living, not after dying or something and going somewhere. After you die, if you go to an atheist, he will say nothing is there, you don't exist. Or even if you go to a Vaidika, they will say you are traveling, you have to travel, Archiradi Marga and all is there. So there is the path of the sun is there, path of the moon also is there. Okay? Or Dhuma Marga and all they say, filled with smoke. So like this, either you are traveling or you don't exist. We don't know. We can't wait till you die and then find out all these things. So what is the best thing you know right here? You have to know. You don't have to wait. So yasmin pranaha panchada samvidesha. Wherever this prana has entered in this fivefold way, correct? There only in your mind you have to know this Atma, which is Anuhu, which is subtle. Which is subtle, yeah, I told you that, correct? This Atma is not easy to know because in all other knowledge we have both the Vritti Vyapti and the Phala Vyapti. But in this Atma Jnanam, the Pramana Vyapara takes place. Shruti, you listen to your Guru, and that words then reveal to you your true nature. But you cannot objectify this Atma, understand that. That is why it is subtle. And you need not objectify also. That is what you have to understand. Because it is yourself. And you are self-revealing. So Atma is not an unknown thing. See, if I am talking about some whatever Kailash Manasarovar, even I have a wish to go there sometime. But Kailash Manasarovar is something paroksha, correct? It is somewhere. In fact, I have to take Chinese permission and all nowadays to go there. So once I go there, then I know, I can even see it in photographs and all that nowadays. But even then I go there and then I know it, okay? My own Indriya Pratyaksha is there. I see it directly, I experience. But Atma is not paroksha. It is not somewhere sitting, not available to us. It is available in each and every cognition. It is yourself. It is the subject. It is the witness. However we look at it, correct? But when you listen to the Shastra, what happens is this ignorance about yourself, all the wrong notions about yourself go away. So there is a vritti there also. There is a vritti in the mind which removes all the ignorance, wrong notions about yourself. But there is no phala vyapti in terms of knowing it as an object, understand that. In Atma Jnanam, only vritti vyapti is there. Technically, if we look at it, there is no phala vyapti. Is that clear? So don't try to objectify yourself or look for a special Atma experience and all that. That is also another type of objectification only. What needs to be understood is, you are the limitless Atma. You are the invariable in each and every cognition. Correct? You are both the subject and object. You are the Atma of everyone, everybody, everything. That has to be understood. That's what the Shruti is revealing to you all the time, correct? And that has to be understood only in your mind, a mind which is pure. And while you are living, that too. It's not that after death, Jivan Neva Mukti. Jivan Mukti we talk about, correct? Right now, in fact, it is already an established fact, correct? Moksha is already there. Chaitanya is always as it is. It is only knowing that, or more correctly, giving up all wrong notions about yourself. That's all is required, nothing else. When you give up all wrong notions about yourself, Atma is there as it is. It will reveal itself to you. That's what even here it comes. See? So, prana is chittam sarvam otam prajanam. Now, what kind of an Atma is this? It is the prana and it is the mind of everything. Sarvam and So, Prajanam Chittam Pranaihi Otam. Otam means it is woven. Woven is Otam Protam we say. So this Atma is like it is like the yarn which is woven into a cloth, correct? So where do you get the yarn? In a cloth. It is there everywhere. It is woven as the cloth, correct? Similarly, this Chaitanya, this Atma alone is appearing as all these things, your own prana, mind, all the beings. That's how you have to know this Atma, correct? This Atma is not some being with a dadi, big dadi, sitting somewhere. Okay, Atma is not a long white bearded person sitting somewhere with a benign look and all that. Atma is everything. It is yourself, but it is everything. It is the one which is appearing as all the prana, all the minds, all the beings. So that's how you have to understand. It is woven, this consciousness alone is manifest as everything. Like the yarn which is woven into cloth, this Atma is woven into both the subject and the object, and each and every experience is nothing but the manifestation of this Atma. But the Atma is the invariable, changeless in that. So that is what we have to understand. That is how we have to understand. And so when does this understanding take place? Yasmin Vishuddhe. So wherever this qualified person is there, correct? This pure person. Vishuddhe here means Vishuddhe Chitte and all we have to take, or Vishuddhe Sattve. Because Vishuddha Sattva was talked about even in the previous verse. So wherever a qualified person is there, with a certain disposition of one's mind, with a pure mind, which is free from all raga dvesha and also free from all ignorance here, because here we are talking about a jnani. Because this Vishuddha Sattva, being a Vishuddha Sattva is also what we want to accomplish. It is and we have a lot of sadhana for that. But that itself is the accomplishment also, understand that. Being pure, being free from all likes and dislikes, and also not having any ignorance. For such a person, this Atma reveals. Because I told you, Atma is as it is. What we have to do is only remove the ignorance. Then the Atma is anyway shining as it was, as it is, as it will be always. And it has to be understood as it is, without any wrong notions. For that alone the Shruti Pramana is required. The Shruti Pramana removes all your ignorance. That's all. And that removal of ignorance has to take place in the mind only, understand? Because the ignorance is for the Jiva, and the Jiva is the one, the locus of the Jiva is manifest only in the mind, correct, as awareness. So wherever the problem is, the solution also has to take place there. Only through your mind, the ego and the individual is getting manifest. And there only the mithyatvam, the unreality of your individuality, the unreality of your ego has to also be seen there only. So once these wrong notions go away, you are as you are, correct? That is what is here. The Atma Vibhavati. Atma reveals itself to you. Means it is not like anything, some special experience or anything. Once you have undergone a pramana vyapara with Shastra and your Guru, and all the wrong notions and ignorance is destroyed, then the Atma will reveal itself only as it is. It is the invariable in each and every experience. You don't have to anymore wait for some special experience to dawn. Each and every experience, you only see Atma in them. That is the Sarvatma Bhava. And you also understand that only one Atma is manifest as this entire Jagat. And you don't have to go searching for anything to become happy. Whatever you think you will get, whatever happiness you think you will get by achieving something, by fulfilling some desire, you already have. You are that very happiness, in fact. That is why an Atma means what? All desires are also as well fulfilled. Okay? Even Taittiriya Upanishad says it very beautifully. Okay? Yo ved nihitam guhayam parame vyoman so oshnute sarvan kamaan saha. Saha ashnute sarvan kamaan. Saha means here Yugapat. Yugapat means simultaneously as this knowledge dawns, you have as well attained all your desires. Because you are no more a wanting person. You don't look upon yourself as a wanting person. You are Purnaha. And for a Purna, it is like your ocean and all that. Bhagavad Gita also Bhagavan says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apav pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakama kami. So the one who desires for an object is not going to gain moksha or shanti. But one who is like this ocean, one who is Purnaha, one who looks upon oneself as this Purna Atma, without any lack, without any want, that person is like the ocean. Any number of rivers can enter that. Any number of desires can still be there. They are all not binding anymore. They do not really matter whether you fulfill them or not. You are already fulfilled. You are already the person for whom all desires are as though fulfilled. Because you have that happiness for which you want to fulfill your desire. Correct? That happiness is already there with you. So why should you go and do anything? Still you can do. That's okay. That's a different thing. So you can do whatever you want to do out of fullness, not out of want or a lack. So that is the beauty here. So for a jnani, for one who has a pure mind and one who has no ignorance, this Atma reveals itself. It's Ananda Atma. That's why even Dakshinamurti is Ananda Swarupa. How is it shown in our iconography? It is beautiful, correct? Dakshinamurti is always youth, ever youth. That signifies that Ananda Atma. Understand that. The Shishyas are all old. Correct? Jivas are old because they think that they are limited beings, subjected to all kinds of wants, likes and dislikes, subjected to space-time. They are old. One who is subjected to space-time alone can become old. So that is said even Chitram Vatataror Bhule Vruddha Shishya Guru Yuva. So Guru is Yuva because Guru knows one's own Swarupa as Ananda Swarupa. So Guru is always Yuva. Shishyas are all Samsari. They are old people. That is the Vichitra. Chitram Vatataror Mule means under the banyan tree there is a strange thing which is happening. What? The Guru is young, youth. All the Shishyas are all very old, Sanatadi. That only shows that once you have this knowledge, you are ever happiness, ever Ananda. This Ananda is not something which you gain or you are going to lose. It is your very Swarupa. It never goes away. It is you. That is the beauty here. So that's what is said very nicely here. this particular thing, Chetasa Veditavyaha, is a very important thing. I hope you are all not confused by all this modern Vedanta and all that, where they simply confuse you. You go for a, you will go for, in circles, you will be going round and round. So, but Shastra is very clear. Upanishad is very clear here. That has to be understood. So we will continue next week. The last verse in this particular khanda, which is also beautiful. We will see that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.